Donald Trump thought he could walk into the Late Show and humiliate David Letterman. But in under a minute, Letterman calmly dropped hospital records, Swiss clinic payments, and live witnesses that turned the studio upside down. What started as an interview ended as a public demolition. The man who never loses control lost it on live TV. The studio lights were bright, the audience buzzing with that nervous excitement. Wait, the President of the United States walked onto a late-night set. David Letterman leaned back in his chair, legs crossed, wearing that same half-smirk he'd had for decades. Then Donald Trump strode in, shoulders squared, red tie perfect, flashing the crowd that familiar confident grin. The applause hit hard, a mix of cheers and a few awkward claps. Letterman stood up, shook his hand, and they both sat down. "Hey, Mr. President, welcome back," Letterman started, voice easy and warm. "You know, it's been a while since you've been on the couch. Last time you were here, you were still building towers and firing people on TV. Now you're running the country again. How's that feel?" Trump laughed, the big booming one he saves for when he wants to own the room. "Feels fantastic, David. Tremendous. Nobody does it better than me, believe me." The audience chuckled along. Letterman nodded, still smiling, then leaned in just a little. "Good to hear. Listen, there's been a lot of chatter lately, online, in the papers, everywhere, about you and Ivanka. People saying things, asking questions. You know how rumors get legs." The room went quieter than it should have. Trump's smile didn't drop right away, but something in his eyes changed, sharpened. He tilted his head like he was sizing up an opponent. "What exactly are you talking about, David? Talk about my daughter? Come on." Letterman kept his tone light, almost casual. "Just the stuff floating around. People wondering why certain stories keep coming up, why certain photos get dissected, why certain timelines don't quite add up. You've heard it, I'm sure." Trump's face tightened. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees, voice dropping lower but carrying farther. "Let me tell you something. You've been out of the game a long time. Ratings tanked, show ended, nobody cares what you think anymore. And now you're trying to stay relevant by dragging my beautiful daughter into some garbage rumor? That's low, even for you. Bitter much?" The audience sucked in a breath. A few people shifted in their seats. The air in the studio went thick, like someone had flipped a switch from fun late-night talk to street fight about to start. Letterman didn't flinch. He just sat there, letting the silence stretch a beat longer than normal, letting Trump's words hang. Then he spoke, slow and calm, eyes locked on Trump's. "Ratings? Sure, we can talk ratings if you want, but let's be real here. You came on my show tonight ready to run the conversation, throw a few punches, make it all about me being washed up. That's fine, you've done it 1,000 times. But here's the thing." He paused, just enough to make the room lean in. "What if the real story isn't about my ratings? What if it's about something you've spent years making sure nobody looks at too closely?" Trump's jaw clenched. He opened his mouth, closed it, then forced a laugh that didn't reach his eyes. "You're reaching, David. Desperate. Sad." Letterman didn't bite back hard. He just raised an eyebrow, that classic Letterman move, and said quietly, "Maybe. Or maybe I've got more than rumors. Maybe I've got pieces that fit together in a way you really don't want on television. We've got a long night ahead. Plenty of time to find out." The audience didn't laugh. They didn't clap. They just stared. Then the lights in the studio dimmed just a touch, enough to make everyone focus on the big screen behind them. Letterman didn't rush. He picked up a small remote from the desk, pointed it casually, and said, "Let's take a quick look at something from a while back. I think you'll recognize this one, Mr. President." The screen flickered to life. It was an old clip, probably from the early 2000s. Trump on some morning show, sitting next to a young Ivanka, both of them smiling for the cameras. The host asked a light question about family, and Trump leaned in, put his arm around her shoulders and said, clear as day, "She's incredible, beautiful. If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her." The audience in the clip laughed like it was nothing. Trump in the clip laughed too, big and proud. Back in the studio, the same line landed completely different. Nobody laughed. A few people shifted uncomfortably. Trump's face went stone hard, lips pressed into a thin line. Letterman let the clip end, then turned to him slow, eyes steady. Fun soundbite back then, right? Everybody chuckled. But what if it wasn't a joke? What if that was just you saying what you meant? Trump exploded out of his seat halfway, then sat back down hard, pointing a finger. That's ridiculous. That's disgusting. You're twisting words from 20 years ago to make me look bad. That was a compliment. Everybody knows it was a compliment. You're sick, David. Sick. Letterman didn't raise his voice. He just nodded once, like he expected the reaction, then reached under the desk and pulled out a thin manila folder. Okay, let's move on to something more recent. Or at least, something that showed up on my desk last week. He opened the folder, slid a couple of photocopied pages across the desk so the camera could catch them. These are hospital records, birth certificate attached. Date lines up with Barron's birth year. Mother listed as Ivanka Marie Trump. Father listed as Donald John Trump. Signed and stamped. Looks official to me. The audience let out a collective gasp. Sharp, sudden, like air getting sucked out of the room. Phones started lighting up in people's hands even though they weren't supposed to. Trump stared at the papers like they were on fire. His neck turned red, veins popping. Fake! Total fake! You think you can just print garbage and wave it around? I'm done here. This is a setup. I'm walking off right now. He started to stand, mic still clipped to his tie. Letterman leaned forward quick. Sit down, Donald. You walk off now, it looks worse. You know that. These aren't from some basement blogger. They came through channels. People risked their jobs sending them. You really want to leave before we talk about what they mean? Trump froze mid-stand, glared at Letterman, then dropped back into the chair with a thud. You're finished after this. Lawsuits, big ones. You'll be begging for change on the street. Letterman ignored the threat, reached for another button on his console. One more thing before you start calling lawyers. The screen switched again. This time, no video, just audio. Grainy, clearly from some old green room setup years back. Trump's voice, low and off mic, unmistakable. She's mine in every way. Don't worry about it. A short pause, then quieter. Nobody needs to know. The clip cut. Dead silence in the studio. Then murmurs started rippling through the crowd. Letterman spoke over them, calm as ever. That was recorded during one of your Apprentice tapings, right around the time Ivanka took that 9-month modeling break in Europe. Funny how she disappeared from public events, came back looking different. Coincidence? Trump slammed his palm on the armrest so hard the mic picked up the crack. Turn that crap off. That's edited, doctored. You're splicing things together to make me the bad guy. This is a witch hunt, worse than anything they tried before. Audience members were leaning forward now, some with hands over mouths, others whispering furiously to the person next to them. The energy had flipped completely. No more polite chuckles, no more waiting for punchlines. It felt raw, dangerous, like the whole room was holding its breath, waiting for the next bomb to drop. Letterman let the silence sit for another second, then looked straight into the camera. We're not done yet. There's more, a lot more. And Mr. President, you're not the one deciding when we stop tonight. Trump was silent and did not respond. His breathing was heavy, audible on the mics. His eyes darted from Letterman to the folder to the screen and back. Letterman didn't let the silence drag too long. He knew exactly when to keep the pressure on. He turned slightly toward the side entrance, gave a small nod, and said, "We've got someone here tonight who wants to say a few words. Come on out." A woman in her late 40s walked onto the set. Plain dark blazer, hair pulled back tight, looking nervous but determined. The audience murmured as she took the empty chair that had been rolled in quick. Letterman introduced her simply. This is Sarah Klein. She worked in the Trump Organization for almost 15 years, mostly handling personal errands and logistics for the family. Sarah sat straight, hands clasped in her lap. "I didn't want to do this," she started, voice steady but low. "But after what I've seen tonight, I can't stay quiet anymore." She looked right at Trump. "Mr. Trump, back in 2005, you called me into your office one afternoon. You handed me a bag from the pharmacy, prenatal vitamins, folic acid, the whole thing. You told me, 'Take these to Ivanka's apartment. Don't ask questions. Don't tell anyone.' I did it. More than once." Trump's face twisted. He jabbed a finger toward her. "Liar, you're making this up for your 15 minutes. I never—" Sarah cut him off, calm but firm. "I kept copies, emails. Your assistant forwarded the pharmacy receipt to my work account with your direct approval in the chain." She reached into her jacket pocket, pulled out a slim tablet, tapped the screen, and held it up so the camera could zoom in. The email thread appeared on the big monitor behind them. Clear subject line. "Ivanka delivery, today." Sender. Trump org internal. Body per DJT instructions. Attached PDF of the receipt. The audience erupted, gasps, a few, "Oh my God," phones lighting up again. Trump leaned forward, eyes wide, then slammed back in his chair. "That's doctored, fake email. You're part of this setup, aren't you? Paid off?" Sarah shook her head slow. "I quit 6 years ago because I couldn't look at myself in the mirror anymore. I saved everything. And tonight, seeing you sit here acting like none of it happened, I'm done protecting you." Letterman let that sink in, then motioned toward the wings again. "We've got one more person who'd like to speak." Another woman stepped out, younger, mid-30s, blonde hair and a loose ponytail, eyes red like she'd been crying on the way over. "This is Emily Harper," Letterman said. "She was Ivanka's personal assistant from 2003 to 2007. Emily sat, swallowed hard, glanced at Trump once, then looked away. "I signed papers," she said quietly. "NDAs, lots of them. But one was different. It was tied directly to Baron's birth. I was told to keep quiet about anything related to Ivanka's time away, her medical appointments, the baby. They said if I ever talked, I'd be ruined. Lawsuits, blacklisted, everything." Trump snorted loud. "Standard stuff. Everybody signs NDAs means nothing." Emily reached into her bag with shaking hands, pulled out a folded piece of paper that had clearly been torn in half once and taped back together. She unfolded it carefully, held it toward the camera. "This is my copy. The original got shredded, but I kept this. Look at the clause. Any discussion of events surrounding the birth of Baron Trump, including but not limited to prenatal care, travel arrangements, or family involvement. Signed by me, witnessed by your lawyer. And right here," she pointed, "your handwritten note in the margin. Make sure she understands consequences. You wrote that yourself." Trump's mouth opened, closed. For the first time all night, he looked genuinely rattled. No quick comeback, no booming laugh to cover it. That's not, I don't remember." "You don't remember?" Emily's voice cracked but got stronger. "You sat across from me in your office, made me read it out loud so I'd know you meant business. You said, 'Family comes first, and this stays family.' I was 25. I was scared, but I'm not scared anymore." The room was dead quiet except for the low hum of the lights. Trump rubbed his face with both hands, then dropped them, staring at the torn paper like it was poison. Letterman didn't waste the moment. He hit a button on his console, and the big screen lit up with a clean, simple timeline graphic. Dates, photos, arrows connecting everything. "Let's put it together so everybody can see it clear," he said. 2005. Ivanka announces a 9-month modeling gig in Europe. No public appearances, barely any photos. Then mid-2006, Baron is born. Right in that window, we've got prenatal vitamins delivered on orders, NDAs signed about the birth, hospital records naming the father, off-mic comments. And now this. He clicked again. A grainy, leaked photo appeared. Clearly Ivanka, side profile, standing on what looked like a European street, loose coat but unmistakable curve to her belly. Time-stamped from Paris, 2005. Subtle, but there if you looked. The audience inhaled sharp. Trump shot up halfway out of his chair. Fake! All of it! Photoshopped garbage! You're doctoring pictures now? This is election interference, deep state crap! Letterman stayed seated, voice even. The photo came from a fashion blog archive. Timestamp matches the timeline. You can Google it yourself right now if you want. But go ahead. Call it fake. Call everything fake. People are watching. They're deciding for themselves. Trump sat back down heavy, breathing hard through his nose, fists clenched on his knees. The two women stayed where they were, eyes locked forward. The graphic stayed up on the screen, glowing, undeniable. Then Letterman reached for another folder, thicker this time, and laid it flat on the desk. "We're going international for this next part," he said, voice low and matter-of-fact. These came from a private clinic in Geneva. High-end, discreet. Patient registered under the name I. Kensington. Same birth year as Ivanka. Same general timeline. Ultrasounds, prenatal visits, delivery notes, all matching Baron's arrival. He flipped open the folder and held up the top sheet for the camera. Dates lined up perfectly. Check-ins starting right after that European modeling break. Payments logged in round figures. Trump's eyes narrowed to slits. "More fakes," he growled. "You're pulling this out of thin air. Switzerland, come on." Letterman shook his head. "Not thin air, real paper. And we've got someone who can confirm it." He looked toward the control booth. "Patch him through." A crackle came over the speakers, then a calm male voice with a faint Swiss-German accent. "This is Dr. Lucas Meyer. I worked at the clinic from 2003 to 2010. I treated the patient in question. The records are authentic. I signed off on several of them myself." Trump's head snapped toward the speakers. "Who the hell is this? You can't just—" "I can," the doctor cut in. "And I have proof of payment. Personal checks from Donald J. Trump drawn on his personal account. Not the business. Personal. Thousands of dollars direct to the clinic. I kept copies when I left. They're with Mr. Letterman now." The big screen flashed up scanned check images. Trump's signature bold and unmistakable. Memo lines reading "Medical Services, Confidential." The audience let out a wave of shocked murmurs. Trump slammed both palms down on the desk so hard the water glasses rattled. "Lies! Forged checks! This is criminal! You're all going down for this!" Letterman stayed ice cool. "The doctor's on the line right now, live. He's risking his license to say this. You want to call him a liar to his face?" The doctor's voice came back steady. "I'm not afraid anymore. The truth matters more than threats." Trump's face was beet red, breathing like he'd run a mile. He jabbed a finger at the camera. "You're done, Letterman. Obsessed. Pathetic. Dragging my family through the mud for ratings." Letterman didn't blink. He hit play on the console again. This time the audio was cleaner, enhanced, every word crisp. Same old green room clip, but now you could hear the full whisper. "She's mine in every way. Handle it quiet. No leaks." A second voice, muffled, probably an aide, replied something inaudible. Trump's whisper again. "I said handle it." Trump lunged forward in his chair, veins bulging in his neck. "Turn that garbage off. You're obsessed with me, obsessed with my daughter. This is harassment, pure and simple." Letterman waited for the outburst to peak, then slid another document across the desk. "Not obsessed. Prepared. This is an affidavit from someone who was in the room during those cover-up meetings. Your former Chief of Staff's deputy. Sworn, notarized, dated last month." He read from it quietly. In late 2005 and early 2006, multiple meetings took place in Trump Tower. Present: Donald Trump, Ivanka Trump, Select Legal Counsel. Topic: managing public perception around Ivanka's absence and the impending birth. Instructions given to suppress all records, relocate medical care overseas, enforce strict NDAs. Mr. Trump stated, quote, "This stays in the family forever. No one outside knows." Trump's mouth worked soundlessly for a second. That person's lying. They're disgruntled, fired, revenge. Letterman looked up. He's willing to testify under oath. Names, dates, witnesses. You want to keep calling everyone liars? Or you want to answer the question? The room was electric. People shifting, whispering, some standing halfway out of their seats. Then, from the middle rows, a man in a dark suit stood up slow. Security started moving, but Letterman raised a hand quick. "Hold on, let him speak. He's got something to add." The man, mid-50s, gray at the temples, held up his phone. "I worked security detail for the family back then. I recorded this on my old dictaphone. Didn't know why at the time. Just habit." He tapped play. Trump's voice came through the phone speaker, tinny but clear. "The baby's mine. We keep it locked down. Barron's mine and hers. Nobody else gets a say. Understand?" The clip ended. Chaos. Audience members gasped loud. Some shouted, "What the hell?" Others started filming with their phones, even though they weren't allowed. Trump shot to his feet, pointing wildly at the man. "Plant! You're a plant! That's fake! Edited! I never said that! Never!" The man didn't back down. "I saved it because it scared me. Kept it all these years. Tonight's the first time it's seen daylight." Trump's voice cracked into a yell. "Sit down! Shut up! This is rigged! Whole thing's rigged! You people are disgusting!" He was pacing now, mic cord tangling around his legs, face purple. Letterman stayed seated, calm as stone. "You can yell all you want, Donald. But the tape's playing. The checks are up there, the doctor's on the line, the affidavit's in front of you. People aren't buying the fake line anymore." The audience roar grew, half shock, half outrage, a few clapping in disbelief. Trump stopped pacing, looked out at the crowd, then back at Letterman. For a split second, his eyes showed something raw. Panic, maybe. Then he masked it with another furious glare. Then Letterman leaned forward, voice steady like he was reading the weather. "Let's wrap this up so it's crystal clear. We've got the vitamins delivered on your orders. NDAs signed about the birth. Hospital records naming you as father. Swiss clinic files with your personal checks. Off-mic whispers. Cover-up meetings. And that leaked photo of Ivanka looking pregnant in Paris. All lines up perfect." He clicked the remote. A new graphic popped up. A simple family tree diagram with DNA percentages glowing next to Barron's name. And here's the kicker. Anonymous tip sent me a chain of hacked emails from a genetics lab. Partial results leaked before they got shut down. Matches show high probability. Barron shares maternal DNA markers with Ivanka. Paternal with you. Not conclusive on its own, but it fits everything else like a glove. Trump's face went from red to purple. He gripped the armrest so hard his knuckles turned white. "Enough! Shut this down! I'm done! Turn off the cameras now!" Letterman didn't move. "You can't shut it down, Donald. It's already out there. People are seeing it live." Trump exploded up, pointing at Letterman. "You're a fraud. All your sources, paid liars, disgruntled nobodies, fake emails, fake DNA, fake everything. I'll sue you into the ground." Letterman hit a button. The big screen switched to video. A middle-aged man in a plain office looking straight at the camera. "This is Michael Roth, your former personal attorney from 2004 to 2010. He reached out last week." Roth spoke clear and slow. "I helped arrange the whole thing. The overseas clinic, the alias registration, the NDAs, even routing the payments through shell accounts so nothing traced back easy. Donald told me himself. Get it done quiet. She's carrying my kid. Nobody can know. I drafted the agreements. I witnessed the meetings. I've lived with this guilt for years. No more." Trump lunged toward the screen like he could smash it. "Liar, you're fired for cause. You're nothing. This is perjury, treason." Security stepped closer, but Trump was shaking, spit flying as he yelled. The audience was on their feet now. Gasps, shouts, a few people crying. Letterman raised his voice just enough to cut through. One last thing. This just came through. Sealed court filing from a New York family court. Unsealed tonight by judge order after leaks forced their hand. He held up a fresh printout. Petition for protective order filed by Melania Trump in 2006. It references extraordinary family circumstances involving the birth of Barron and requests gag orders on medical staff and aides. Her signature's right there. She knew. She helped cover it. Trump froze, mouth open, eyes wide, no sound coming out. The room erupted, screams, applause mixed with boos, phones flashing everywhere. He stood there speechless, swaying a little, like the fight had finally drained out of him. The cameras kept rolling as he finally turned, ripped off the mic, and stormed toward the exit. The audience roar followed him out. Backstage lights snapped on. Trump shoved past crew, face twisted. Sue them all, every one of you. This isn't over. A hot mic caught him hissing to a producer. If this airs, you're finished. All of you. I'll bury you. The clip leaked within minutes. Grainy phone video from a staffer. Twitter exploded. Newsrooms lit up. Trump threatened staff post-interview headlines everywhere. Calls for congressional probes started trending. Next morning, Sarah Klein, the former staffer, called her own press conference outside Trump Tower. Cameras rolling, she said. I'm not the only one. 3 more people from the inner circle are ready to talk. They've got documents, recordings, everything. The truth's coming out whether he likes it or not. Trump's team fired back with denials, but the damage was spreading fast. Pundits tore apart the timeline on every channel. Late-night hosts replayed clips. Public opinion polls shifted overnight. Doubt creeping in, even among diehards. That evening, Letterman did a short follow-up spot from his desk at home. Calm as ever, no smirk, just straight talk. I didn't set out to destroy anyone. I set out to ask questions. The answers came from the evidence, not me. And yeah, there's more tape, unreleased stuff. If the story needs it, it'll come out. Truth doesn't hide forever. He paused, looked right into the lens. Thanks for watching. Sleep tight. The screen went black, but the story didn't. It kept burning week after week, a slow-motion explosion nobody could look away from. If you're loving this, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Let's keep coming.